Yo,
Want to strengthen your math and computer science skills? Try Brilliant. It's an effective and fun way to learn, built for the way your mind actually works. Every lesson is visual and interactive, so concepts make
The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. Come with me on a visual journey down the rabbit hole of human nature. If you're a visual learner or you just don't have the spare 30 hours right now to get through this book, then you've come to the right video. We're going to go over things like which gender projection type you are, zeitgeist, aggression, cults, and a heap more. I got so much out of reading this book, and by the end of this summary, I hope it inspires you to grab a copy of the book for yourself so you can go even deeper and master these laws. Let's jump into it.
These primitive forces, there are 18 of them. I call these primitive forces human nature. And so they're actually governing your behavior and they're governing other people's behavior. You don't know who you are. You walk around in your world and you're kind of sleepwalking. You assume you have an identity, an opinion, an image of yourself that is actually somewhat false. There's something else going on inside you.
Law 10. The Law of Envy. Beware the fragile ego. Every time a friend succeeds, I die a little. Gore Vidal. Envy is the trickiest and most elusive of all human emotions. To decode envy, you must become a master of human nature. You need to be able to distinguish passive envy from active envy before you can understand its nuances. We all suffer from envy from time to time as we unconsciously observe the people around us and feel that they may have more in life than ourselves. The need to compare may motivate some of us to excel. For some, however, there are more extreme forms of envy. If people are actively trying to sabotage your projects, your career, or your relationships, then you're dealing with a dangerous, envious person. Signs of envy. It is difficult to detect subtle signs of envy, but if you pay attention, you can detect them. Micro-expressions. It is the eyes that are most associated with envy. It's often the first impression that's the most accurate, so you should pay more attention to it. The envier will momentarily look at you with disdain and hostility. Sometimes the look is only noticeable by accident, but if you notice such looks in your first encounter with someone, and they happen more than once, a dangerous envious person could be lurking into your life. The Schopenhauer method for eliciting envy. Tell suspected enviers some good news about yourself, a promotion, a new and exciting love interest. You will notice a very quick expression of disappointment. The tone of voice as they congratulate you will betray some tension and strain. Equally, tell them some misfortune of yours and notice the uncontrollable micro-expression of joy in your pain, what is commonly known as schadenfreude. Poisonous praise. Beware of people who give you confusing and paradoxical praise. They will find ways to praise you, but mix the praise with sarcasm and offhand remarks which are designed to make you feel uncomfortable and make you doubt your abilities. Backbiting. Gossip often serves as a cover for envy, a means of venting frustration through sharing malicious rumors and stories. If you happen to hear of a negative story spread about you, that should have enough impact to raise your awareness. A sign of active envy could be the fact that your friend feels the need to vent his or her underlying hostility to a third party rather than keep it to themselves. Push and pull. If people are envious of you, the people with the closest proximity who know all your secrets and weaknesses are often in the best position to act upon this envy. Enviers often use friendship and intimacy as the best way to wound the people they envy.
If you're trying to build a marketing agency, a coaching or a consulting business from zero, please, for the love of...
Envier types. Here are 5 common varieties of envious people, how they disguise themselves and how they attack. The leveler. Levelers are always on the lookout for injustice and unfairness in the world. Despite their ability to put others down, they do not easily take a joke at their own expense. It is their goal to bring everyone down to their level of mediocrity. Levelers cannot identify or value excellence in anyone. Be aware of these people, especially in the workplace. Such individuals will try to make you feel guilty for being ambitious to try and cover up their own ambitions to succeed. Levelers are people who want to bring you down when they see you rise above them. The self-entitled slacker. People today rightfully feel entitled to success and a good life, but they recognize that they will need to sacrifice their time and work hard. Self-entitled slackers believe that they are entitled to success and the finer things in life. These people are plagued by narcissism and insecure about their own abilities to get what they want. Keep an eye out for those who prefer to maintain their positions through charisma rather than by putting in the hard work to get things done. The status fiend. Humans are very sensitive to their rank and position within social groups. Status for some people, however, is more than a way to measure social position. It is the most important factor in determining how valuable they perceive themselves to be. Status fiends will ask you about your income, whether you own your home, and what type of neighborhood you live in. It is common for such types to demonstrate their status in an opposite direction, portraying themselves to be monk-like, but in reality they secretly yearn for the luxury they cannot afford. When you're around this type of envier, try to hide or at least downplay anything that might trigger envy. The attacher. These types are attracted to the successful or powerful, not in admiration but out of envy. They will do anything they can to make themselves useful, but they lack their own purpose and they want to get some of that attention and success the high achiever is getting without all the hard work. They hate the fact that this person is getting more than them. The insecure master. For some people, having a high position increases their insecurities. They fear subordinates who may possess more talent than them with an envious gaze. They may fire people for strange reasons or discredit your outstanding projects. Keep an eye out for signs of insecurity or envy among those above you. Envy triggers. While certain personality types tend to be more prone to envy than others, you should be aware that certain situations can cause envy in just about anyone. Older people and people whose professions are fading tend to have a fragile ego and can easily feel envious of others. When a woman achieves high levels of success, other women and men feel inadequate, leading to jealousy and animosity instead of appreciation. In order to deflect envy, it becomes even more important for successful women to play the humble card. The best way to deal with an envy attack is to control your emotions. As a result of social media, envy is more common today than ever before. We all have a low level of envy within us, which can be exacerbated by reading something or seeing something that makes us feel insecure. Beyond envy. Envy thrives in environments where people see each other every day, whether they are colleagues in a corporation, family members, neighbors, or peers in any type of group. Considering that our brains cannot stop comparing, we should redirect this mechanism into something constructive and creative. Human greatness is to be admired. Admiration is the opposite of envy. We acknowledge people's accomplishments, celebrate them without feeling insecure. Our species' potential is to be celebrated when we recognize someone's greatness. Gratitude is the best antidote to envy. Engage in downward comparisons. We often compare ourselves with people above us and we become envious. Instead of always looking upwards, look downwards from time to time. Compare yourself to people who are lower than you socioeconomically. not in a superior manner, but in a way that gives you gratitude for the things that you do have in your life that so many others do not. Schadenfreude, the experience of gaining pleasure from another person's suffering, is closely related to envy. Instead, follow what Friedrich Nietzsche called Mitfreude, which means joying with. Instead of simply congratulating someone on their success, you should instead attempt to actively feel their joy. Try to feel what they must be feeling in their moment of success. Practicing Mitfreude increases your ability to feel this emotion in relation to your own experiences. Law 11, the law of grandiosity. Know your limits. The gods are merciless with those who fly too high on the wings of grandiosity, and they will make you pay the price. Throughout history, humans have had a deep need to consider themselves important. We get a little bit of success and we let it go straight to our heads. We feel superior to others. We amplify our successes and we take all the credit. We downplay any role that luck or the contributions of others may have played in our success. As soon as the perception of our greatness and brilliance differs too much from reality, we become grandiose. Seek out signs of excessive grandiosity in others and in yourself. Grandiosity has become exponentially more prominent today as a result of the following factors. The number of people who receive pampering attention as a child is greater now than ever before. A growing number of people are showing little or no respect for authority or experts in general. And social media is amplifying grandiosity. We allow the attention of others to inflate our egos, and social media gives us almost limitless capabilities to expand our presence and to create the illusion that we can attract thousands or even millions of adoring followers to us. More than anything, it is social media that spreads the grandiosity virus. The grandiose leader.
If you're struggling with depression and not feeling the comfort and peace that you need, I invite you to meet with missionaries like me from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We can help you lift your burdens through the gospel of Jesus.
It is possible for people with high levels of grandiosity to attain positions of power if they also possess some talent and assertive energy. The grandiose leader distorts reality to fit their perceived greatness. Here are 6 common illusions grandiose leaders like to create. Greatness is my destiny. It is common for grandiose leaders to portray themselves as destined for greatness. The stories they tell about their childhood and youth demonstrate their uniqueness, as if fate had chosen them. I'm the common man or woman. Public figures must present themselves to the public as representatives of the average citizen. A grandiose leader's trick is to put emphasis on their cultural tastes and not the class that they were raised in. I will be your savior. In times of crisis and trouble, these types rise to power. These individuals will be the ones to deliver the people from the difficulties they are experiencing. They need to make large yet vague promises to do this. Messages must be simple to understand yet stir the emotions. When followers become part of the cult, they are doubly mesmerized and ready to excuse any faults of the leader. I am able to rewrite the rules. Humans have a secret desire to do away with the conventions and rules in place in every field, and to be empowered just by following their intuitions. Secretly, we are excited and wish to believe grandiose leaders when they proclaim to have such powers. Everything I touch turns to gold. In order to create the legend that they have never failed, those with grandiose tendencies will exaggerate their success. If they had setbacks or failures in their career, other people were always to blame. I'm invulnerable. The grandiose leader likes to take risks, but this boldness is often reckless and mismanaged. In essence, their decisions are influenced not by rational considerations, but by the need for fame and attention, and the reality eventually catches up with them. Practical grandiosity. Grandiosity is a form of primal energy we all possess. Here are 5 basic principles that are essential for redirecting this energy and attaining a high level of fulfillment. Be honest with yourself about your grandiose desires. You must be honest with yourself and admit that we all want to feel important and noticed by others. Only then can you channel your energy into something useful and productive. Focus your energy. Avoid scatterbrained thinking and moving from one idea to another. Don't try to solve too many problems at once and break your goals into smaller steps. Your goals should be attainable in a matter of months and not years. Keep in touch with reality. Let your imagination run free, but don't expect your ideas to be perfect. You will be able to create something practical, powerful, and realistic by listening to criticism and maintaining an ongoing dialogue between your imagination and reality, which is your feedback. Make sure to challenge yourself according to your abilities. Continuously be seeking challenges just above your current skill level. Attempting projects below or at your ability level will make you easily bored and you will lose focus. Don't hold back your grandiose energy. Think of your energy as a wild animal that needs to roam free now and then, or it will go mad from restlessness. Try learning a new skill in a different field, or start that business that you once considered as unattainable or a distraction. Law 12, the law of gender rigidity. Reconnect to the masculine or feminine within you. Do not be afraid to bring out the more sensitive or ambitious sides to your character. These repressed parts of you are yearning to be let out. We all have a mixture of masculine and feminine qualities which are due to our genetics, but also the influence of the parent of the opposite sex. But in order to play the gender role expected of us by society, we tend to repress some of these qualities, and we lose important dimensions of our character. You need to look within yourself and discover those traits that are repressed and underdeveloped. Psychologist Carl Jung identifies these different dimensions of our character as the anima, which is the unconscious feminine part of a male, and the animus, the unconscious masculine part of a female. When we fall in love, we become victims of emotions that we cannot control. We make decisions about partners we cannot rationally explain, and our bad choices of partners are often repeated over time, as if we are driven by some demon deep within ourselves. It is common for relationships to fall apart due to miscommunications on both sides, and without knowing the reasons for the breakdown, we will go through the exact same process with the next person. Gender projection types. The variation of gender projections are infinite, but here are the 6 most common types. As we go through these projections, try to recognize any tendencies towards one of these forms of projection within yourself. Furthermore, watch out for how people will project their desires and fantasies onto you. The devilish romantic. The woman who is usually drawn to a man who is older and successful and who can lavish her with attention and gifts. In order to attract his attention, she decides to seduce him. After time, however, she realizes that his masculine, powerful, and romantic qualities fall short of what she imagined. The attention she gets is not sufficient or does not last long enough. She is powerless to change him, and he will not change, so he walks away from her. A woman in this scenario has become trapped by the attention paid to her by her father in early childhood. It becomes her lifelong goal to reclaim that attention and the power that came with it. To attract this attention that they desire, they have to constantly be flirtatious and charming. The elusive woman of perfection.
You can't choose your neighbors, but you can choose your Viagra, available as tablets and oral dissolving film strips. Choice is a good thing.
Do not pay somebody to build you a Shopify store, because I'm going to do it free with 20 handpicked products by myself and my expert team and professionally written ad copy for all of those products at no charge. And if you don't believe me, I dare you to click on this ad, go to the next page, and see if I ask you for a single penny.
The man who thinks he has found the perfect woman. Although he hasn't had many encounters with the woman in question, he can imagine all kinds of positive encounters with her in the future. Despite his best efforts, he will quickly become disenchanted. Her character is not what he thought it would be. She deceived him. He then proceeds to project his fantasies onto the next woman. Often men susceptible to this projection grew up without a supportive mother. A mother of this sort might have expected her son to give her the attention and support that she was lacking from her husband. And due to this role reversal, the boy who becomes a man feels emptiness inside and a need to fill the attention that he didn't receive in childhood. The lovable rebel. The woman who is attracted to men that have a disdain for authority. This man, unlike the devilish romantic, is usually young and unsuccessful. Moreover, he tends to be outside her usual circle of friends. Even though the relationship breaks apart, the fantasy remains intact. Women with this projection often have a distant and strict father who is strong and patriarchal. As a girl, she dreamed of being independent and assertive, but was restricted to following her father's orders and playing the role of the obedient daughter. The fallen woman. The man who is attracted to the opposite of what he used to be, good, obedient, and trustworthy. This type of man often had a strong mother figure as a child, and subconsciously they gravitate towards women who are imperfect, bad, or from different cultures and/or social classes. His goal is to rescue her, but over time he realizes she isn't what he had expected. These men have a passive and masochistic anima, and they are often merely used as pawns by these women. The superior man. The woman who is drawn to the superior man. His confidence and power radiate through him. He could be a successful businessman or a professor. Among women, this type of projection is very common and is due to feelings of inferiority. Being unable to develop her own confidence or strength, she tends to search for these traits in men and exaggerate their appearance in her imagination. She often attracts men who are attracted to younger women, whom they can dominate. The professor seducing the student scenario. Typically, these men fail to be as clever or as brilliant as she imagined, so the woman either leaves disappointed or gets stuck with her low self-esteem and bends to his manipulations. She should cultivate genuine self-confidence so that she can evaluate the value and character of the men she meets before being misguided. The woman to worship him. The man who seeks a woman who will worship him. His life is hard, but he is driven and ambitious. His life seems to be lacking something. A woman comes along who is warm, attentive, and engaging to him. When he pursues certain types of women, he subtly positions them to play the mother role so they can support, adore, and enhance his ego. Generally, this male projection stems from his relationship with his mother, who adored him and lavished him with attention. She has empowered the boy, and he becomes addicted to that kind of attention. He seeks and expects that same attention from the women he meets. This man should see the patterns of these relationships throughout his life. He must be able to take care of himself. Let me know in the comments below if you guys could relate to any of these projection types. the original man or woman. When we were children, our sense of self was rather fluid. During our youth, however, we needed to establish a social self, one that was cohesive and would allow us to fit in. To achieve this, our free spirit had to be trimmed and tightened. And this tightening was largely driven by gender roles. To feel and present a more consistent self, we had to suppress our masculine or feminine qualities. If you're interested in finding a better balance, pause the video now and see how masculine and feminine traits tend to differ from each other. Do not play the expected gender role, but rather create one that suits you. Law 13, the law of aimlessness, advance with a sense of purpose. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Friedrich Nietzsche. As opposed to animals who can use their instincts to steer clear of danger, humans must rely on their own judgments. As long as we follow our instincts moment by moment, we will wander aimlessly, which will lead us to dead ends. Developing a sense of purpose, discovering our calling in life, and using that knowledge to guide us in our decisions will prevent such a fate. We can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves, our tastes, and our preferences. When we lack purpose, we become increasingly insecure. When we have a sense of purpose, we are less likely to suffer from depression. It is best to avoid hiring or working with people who are motivated by a false purpose, as their unproductive energy will tend to drag you down. If you surround yourself with people who have a strong purpose, they will pull you upward. Operating with a high sense of purpose is a force multiplier. The many sides of your character are channeled into this purpose, giving you more sustained energy.
Hello and welcome to Hello Agent. I'm your host, Alex, founder and CEO of Red Panda. On this podcast, we sit down with builders at the frontier of AI, hands-on keyboard engineers designing and deploying real agentic systems. We cut through the hype to understand how the systems actually work, the architectures, the trade-offs, and the hard problems that you only discovered in production. At Red Panda, we're building the agentic data plane. We unlock private data for the Global 2000 with connectivity, context, and governance agents need to operate safely at scale. Learn more about it at redpanda.com. All right, let's get into it.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Alex. I am your host to the Hello Agent podcast.
Strategies for developing a high sense of purpose. In developing a sense of purpose, you will encounter many challenges. Others may distract you from finding your true direction by instilling doubt in your heart. You can overcome these obstacles by using the following 5 strategies. Often the earliest signs of your true calling can be located in the earliest years of your life. Consider moments in your life when you felt natural and at ease doing certain tasks or activities, as if you were running with the wind at your back. When you pursue your purpose, some people will criticize you along the way. Some may be helpful, but others may just come from envy. Take their negative opinions and judgments of you as motivation and fuel for your purpose. Associating with people who have a strong sense of purpose will allow you to absorb their purposeful energy. Create a ladder of descending goals. If you set long-term goals, you will gain incredible clarity and resolve. However, if you look at all the steps necessary to reach them from your current position, they are likely to generate anxiety. If you want to manage such anxiety, you should have a ladder of smaller goals extending down from the present to the future. Finally, dedicate uninterrupted time with your work. Find states of flow and focus on the work and not the recognition or the reward. The lure of false purposes. We are all aware of how insignificant we are in the universe with billions of others. In order to feel connected to something bigger than ourselves, we need to feel larger than ourselves. As human nature is, however, many people are searching for meaning and a sense of transcendence on the cheapest and easiest terms possible. Throughout history, without a purpose, humans have been attracted to 5 common types of false purposes. The pursuit of pleasure. We often think of work as just a boring necessity of life. Ultimately, we are motivated by avoiding pain and finding as much pleasure as possible outside of work. Our pursuit of pleasure takes many different forms, such as sexual activities, recreational stimulants, and other forms of entertainment. By operating with a sense of purpose, we understand the importance of placing limits on ourselves, rather than overstimulation of the senses. Causes and cults. As human beings, we have a deep desire to believe in something, and with a lack of unifying beliefs, cults fill the void. Groups whose disciples are vague in their objectives should be viewed with caution, as their group is more than likely just about releasing emotions. Money and success. A person's pursuit of money and success often motivates and focuses them. Despite this, many of the richest and most successful people were never initially driven by money. Money and success will naturally flow to you if you focus on your goals and maintain a high sense of purpose. Attention. As a way to feel more important, people have always desired fame and attention. The false sense of purpose, however, has been greatly democratized with the help of social media. By cultivating a strong sense of purpose and creating projects which are naturally appealing, we'll have a much better chance of attracting attention. Cynicism. Man would rather have the void as purpose than be void of purpose. Friedrich Nietzsche. Cynicism, the conviction that existence is meaningless, has the effect of leading to the void as purpose. Politics and old beliefs all contribute to this type of fake purpose, which is growing in popularity nowadays. Law 14, the law of conformity. Resist the downward pull of the group. When people are free to do as they please, they usually imitate each other. Eric Hoffer. The social personality is the different person that we become when we are operating in groups of people. It is a side to our character that we are rarely even aware of. In a group, we unconsciously imitate what others say and do. There is no positive or negative side to the social force. It is simply an aspect of our human nature. The individual effect. The desire to fit in. In order to feel like we belong or fit in with a group, we tend to alter our appearance or adopt its ideas, beliefs, and values. The need to perform. We become actors in the group, guiding what we say and do so that the other team members accept us as loyal members of the team. Emotional contagion. In order to feel like we belong or fit in with a group, we tend to alter our appearance or adopt its ideas, beliefs, and values. The need to perform. We become actors in the group, guiding what we say and do so that the other team members accept us as loyal members of the team. Emotional contagion. We experience the contagiousness of emotions through the group. The group may compel you to act in ways that you would otherwise not if you were alone. Hypercertainty. In the group, we are driven to make urgent decisions and support them. This gives us a sense of certainty that makes us more open to taking risks. You should never give up your ability to doubt, reflect, or consider the other options that differ from the group. The larger the group and the more established the culture over time, the more likely it will control you than the other way around. Group dynamics. You must study the following dynamics in the groups in which you belong. Group culture. Groups carry some dynamic of culture, from countries with long-standing traditions all the way down to a company or even an office. An ideal state will always be the center of the group's culture and spirit. Group rules and codes. The distressing effect of disorder and anarchy are experienced by all groups. Therefore, standard rules and how to conduct oneself quickly emerge and are established. They are not written down, but they are implied by all group members. The group court. In any chimpanzee colony, you will observe an alpha male and other chimpanzees adapting their behavior with him, following, imitating, and trying to strengthen their bonds with the alpha. Essentially, this is the pre-human version of the court, or the social dynamic. Despite the difference in appearance, the behavior and strategies of the courtiers continues to be very similar. The group enemy. In the groups you belong to, you will almost certainly find some sort of enemy or villain to fight, be it human or otherwise. Group factions. As a group becomes large enough, individuals start to form factions. A faction, left unchecked, could grow so powerful it takes control of the leaders. By creating an enthusiastic and unifying environment in the group, factions become less desirable, which tightens the whole group.
Hi, I'm Brad Mickley. I'm one of the project leads of KitOps, which is the only open standard for secure AI/ML project sharing and storage. You can learn more about KitOps at our GitHub repo right here or at kitops.ml. Now today, I'm going to show you how you would integrate model kits in with a Jupyter Notebook. This gives you a really good way not just to share the various project assets in an easy and kind of modular way, but a much more secure way to store those assets. Super important if you are, for example, in the EU and pray to the EU AI Act, or if you're in a regulated industry.
The court and the courtiers.